Hello and welcome to T Money Talks. In this week's episode, T Money is going to talk about their trip to Humboldt. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. Hello and welcome to another episode of T Money Talks, another season 3 episode. I have quite a bit of things to say before we get into my trip on Humboldt because you see, I had plans. I didn't have plans. I had an idea for this podcast episode. I thought it would have been cool if every night on my Humboldt trip if every night on my let's start again. I wanted to, for my Humboldt trip, every night, like every day, like of the trip, every night, I wanted to do a little bit of the podcast episode. I wanted it to, at like Monday night, talk about the drive, Tuesday night talk about what we did, and then so forth until the day we leave and the day we come back. However, though, things didn't necessarily go as planned. Things just didn't happen the way I anticipated them, as in I didn't have the energy to do that. So although I did pack my laptop and all my T Money Talks, all my recording equipment to do a podcast episode out there in Humboldt, I sadly did not do a podcast episode out in Humboldt any of the nights, unfortunately. Unfortunately, because now I'm here recording the podcast episode, which isn't as bad thing at all, because it would have, this is just a normal T Money Talks routine anyways. This is how T Money Talks goes. But anyways, with that being said, we're still having parking wars, so I want to make sure I'm not missing any text messages to move any cars, so so far we have been maintaining our spot securely. We have not lost it, and we will not lose it, and our neighbors have still refused to come outside, thankfully, because they know what's good for them. Anyways, that's not a threat. I just mean because if they come out, I'm just probably gonna shout at them. Anyways, yeah, that's what's gonna happen. Back to what I was talking about. Yes, so I didn't do a podcast, a little bit of the podcast every night, because I was tired. At the end of the drive, I'm just gonna get right into it. We're just gonna get right into it, and then I'll discuss anything else I want to after. Anyways, so the drive on Monday, it was a brutal drive. It was a very tough drive, and because it was such a hard drive, it kind of took both me and my girlfriend out for the entire trip. We still did everything we planned to do. It was just very tiring for us at the end of the day. So by the time our days were done, even though I knew I still had to, or I didn't have to, I wanted to record a little bit of the podcast, I chose to rest, because I was like, you know what, although I could do that right now, I would much rather just sit. I would just much rather lay down and watch TV. I'd much rather just relax than do a podcast episode, because I know what I'm trying to say. No matter what way I look at it, T Money Talks is work for me. I have to take time out of my day, out of my schedule, out of my life to record and edit this podcast. So yeah, it's work, and I was on vacation. I only packed my recording equipment in case I was like, yes, I do want to do it. It's not going to feel like work. It's going to be a good time. And honestly, because of the week before the trip, I had to get so much done. I had to make so many promo TikToks. I had to record I almost said the song that I'm working on for October. I had to continue working on that song in order to get it basically almost done, so by the time I came back I could finish it, and thankfully I have done that. I have an amazing amount of it done now. It just needs some added vocals and some harmonies, and then I'll be sending it off for drums and mixing and mastering. So I am right on track to meet my goal of recording that song and finishing it by the end of this month. That will be a success, and we are already getting started on okay, motorcycle or car anyways, and we have already we are going to get started on the cover art for it. I'm not going to give away too much, but yes, we have started the cover art for the song for October, so we're getting the ball moving along for that, so I don't have to stress the way I was before my trip. So yeah, because I stressed out and had to get so much done before my trip, I decided that I was like, you know what, if I want to rest, if I don't want to do my podcast every night like I wanted to, it wasn't planned, it was just a desire. It was something that would be cool if it was done, but I would have to have the energy for it. And I did not have the energy for it, and I chose to take care of myself. And that, my friends, that is the greatest gift I gave myself, is choosing to relax while I was on vacation. And I'm glad I did that because it made the trip that much better. Because I had such a stressful week right before the trip, getting all my things done, getting everything I had to get done. Sorry if you can hear the cars. I hope you can. But yeah, having to get everything done before my trip was very stressful, and then having to pack on top of that, it was hard. But in the end, it all paid off. Because now here I am about to tell you about my Humboldt trip. We are going to dive deep into that because now that I've gotten that all taken care of the way, let us move on. Oh, and let me also apologize because I know I said on the start of the season I didn't want to have like the third episode be a filler episode, and it ended up being a filler episode, even though you didn't really no, actually I did say in the recording. Anyways, yeah, so sorry about that it was a filler episode, but in the end I just didn't have enough time to do a podcast episode. It was just too stressful for me. There was a lot of things that I had to cut down or like take off of my list of things to get done before my trip because it was just such a stressful week for me. I had to get so much done in such a short amount of time, and it was rough. But with that being said, we are moving on, and hopefully you won't get another filler episode until next month or even the month after that. Actually, no, probably not till next month. We'll see. Anyways, yeah, my Humboldt trip on Monday, the drive up there. So if you all know, if you've been here if you've been with T Money since season 1, I'm sure I've said it somewhere. If I haven't, you're about to find out, or if I have, you already know this. T Money is not a morning person. T Money doesn't like to wake up past 9 a.m. 10 a.m. I feel like is my ideal time, but 9 a.m. I could grow to like waking up at 9 a.m. Anything earlier than 9 a.m. T Money does not like. Anything earlier than 9 a.m. makes me feel like I shouldn't be awake in the world yet. Like I'm not ready to participate, But anyways, yeah. So, oops, shook the mic stand. Anyways, yeah. So Monday morning, we left at 6 a.m. to Humboldt. A 10.5 hour drive ahead of us, snacks in the back, luggage in the trunk. I'm trying to, anyway, I was losing my thought. I'm tired. Anyways, yes. Alright, we stopped for gas right before we hit the road. But my girlfriend started the drive. We get gas, we hit the road, and we prepare ourselves for almost an 11-hour drive. Now, we're about an hour in to this drive, maybe 2 hours in, and we make our first stop. And I think to myself, oh boy, this is gonna be a long trip. Not because like it's 2 hours and it's our first stop, just because it was like we've only been 2 hours. We've only been 2 hours into this drive, and we haven't even put a dent into this journey. And so it was kind of what's the word I'm looking for? It was very intimidating thinking about the way we had to go, like how long we had to get there. And it was just having the first stop be so soon, I think really like mentally defeated me. It mentally made me think like, oh, I didn't know what we were getting into until we were in it. And it's like, well, there's no backing out now. We have to go all the way. There's no way we cannot get to Humboldt by Tuesday. If we don't get there by Tuesday, we're going to lose our reservation, and we didn't want that. So we had a very long, long drive ahead of us. It took us definitely 11 hours. Definitely a little. The trip to up to Humboldt took us a lot longer than I was hoping for it to take, but it's okay. It's okay because it was still a nice time. Well, actually, I don't want to. It was a good time, but it's also had some, it was a roller coaster of a ride. I didn't know I couldn't handle more than 8 hours in a car, and my girlfriend also didn't know she couldn't handle more than 8 hours in a car. So the journey, the ride, it was a tough one. It was a challenge for us, definitely, but we made it. And we okay, let's just put it this way. We left at 6 a.m. We didn't get to Humboldt, to our hotel, we didn't get to Eureka, California until 7 p.m. Roughly around 7 p.m. So take that with what you will. That is how long it took us to get to Humboldt. By the time we got to our hotel, we were both very beat. We were starving because I forgot to say we did not eat breakfast. We just packed snacks, made sandwiches in hopes that the sandwiches and the snacks would hold us over for this 10 and a half hour journey. We made a mistake by not eating breakfast. I will say that. Our biggest mistake that day was not eating breakfast along the way. I think had we stopped and gotten breakfast from a fast food place, the first stop, and then just ate the sandwiches along the way, I think our moods and the journey would have been a lot different because we were both hungry, because all we had were sandwiches and snacks. And for T-Money, sandwiches and snacks don't only hold me over for like an hour, 2 hours max, 3 if I really want to push it, knowing I'm gonna get some food soon. So you can only imagine how hungry I was. But anyways, with all that aside, we finally get to our hotel. And we get to the place and we realize it is not anything like their website pictured it to be. Now, when we look on Apple Maps, the pictures on there, yes, are a much better representation of the sea drift in Eureka, California. If you are ever thinking of visiting Humboldt and staying in Eureka, California, I 10 out of 10 do not recommend the sea drift inn at Eureka, California. It is a 3-star hotel or inn for a reason. I do not recommend it for the season. But yeah, it was not what we imagined. When we got to our room, when we checked in, the man was like, there's no room service. And we were like, interesting, because on their website and everywhere else, it does say there's room service and there's breakfast and, other stuff. But anyways, we were like, yeah, sure, we could look past the no room service. That's fine. I wouldn't want you in my room anyways. I would have just put on the do not disturb sign regardless, because I was like, no, I don't want that. I don't, but just by the looks of it. Anyways, yeah, so then we get into the room. And then the room was like, it was clean, but just the way it was designed, it just wasn't. It just didn't feel clean, It just felt very motel vibes. You drive up to your room, and the shower and the bathroom were big. It was decent, We did get the ADA room just because we thought it was bigger, and thankfully we did, because I think it was a little bit bigger than the other actual rooms they had. So 10 out of 10 on that. But the bed was disgusting. The sheets, they smelled clean. They did smell clean, but the stains and everything else that we found on that bed did not make us feel clean. So we ended up spending the night on a blanket, and the next day purchasing some sheets and comforter for the bed so we could sleep on it with, comfortably, because it was so bad for, like, just imagine having an 11-hour drive in a car. It would that you were hungry the whole time. It had its ups and downs, its good moments, its bad moments, and then you come to this hotel, this place where you're like, yes, I'm finally going to rest my feet, stretch out, then get some food, and just be able to spread my legs and rest. And then you find out that you can't do any of that because of how disgusting it makes you feel. It was horrible. It was a bad way to end our day. But thankfully, we decided to just get some food and debate whether or not we were going to stay there or what we were going to do. Of course, like I said, we did end up staying there. We just got comforters because after we were able to get blankets, have our own blankets on the bed, we felt much more comfortable, much more like we were able to relax and just enjoy ourselves in the bed. And so, sorry, I got distracted because I thought I was gonna adjust the mic. But anyways, yeah. So after that, that was Monday. It was a It was a it was a wild ride on Monday. But Tuesday was much better. Tuesday, we went to the Sequoia Park Zoo. 10 out of 10. I do recommend that, although it's a bit of a pricey entrance fee. It is, if you have EBT, it is 10 out of 10 worth it. Or if you're a resident of the Humboldt County, then I definitely recommend you going. But yeah, so that's what we did. On Tuesday, we had breakfast. I don't remember the name of the place we had. It was an okay breakfast. It wasn't bad. I feel like Denny's would have been better, but it was cool. It was a nice thing to try. And then we went to the zoo. And at the zoo, we saw some really cool animals. We saw some wild dogs being fed. I can't remember what the wild dogs were called, but we watched a feeding of them. And then at the zoo, they also had the Redwood Skywalk, and it's basically bridges in trees. I talked about it in the second episode of the podcast, where it's just a bunch of bridges attached to trees in the redwoods, and you get to just walk around in them. And it was a lot of fun. It wasn't as scary as we thought it was going to be. We thought it was going to be a lot taller. I guess when you're there, when you're up in the bridges, it doesn't feel like you're as high up as you think. Well, I also didn't look down either. So I guess as long as you don't look down, you're fine. You don't really realize how high you are. But it is a lot of fun. It is very beautiful to just be surrounded in the redwoods, in those tall trees, and the air. It just feels so nice and refreshing. It also even felt cold a little bit when you were in the shade, because even though the sun was out, as long as you were under some trees or under the shade, you felt so nice. It was so refreshing. The air, it was just beautiful. Just being surrounded in those trees. I loved every minute of it. But yeah, then we got to do that in the zoo. And there was also a petting zoo inside of the zoo, which was really cool. We got to see a rooster, some pigs, a donkey. I got to talk to some pigs. And that was fun. And then after the zoo, I think the zoo was the only thing we did that day, because again, after Monday, after that drive, we were both still pretty tired from that long haul. So, and also the only thing we had planned for Tuesday was to just go to the zoo. And so we went back to the hotel and we just rested that day. And I know you're like, what? That's all you did? You didn't explore anymore? And it's like, honestly, I was pretty tired, so I didn't really have the energy or really desire to want to explore more. I feel like the zoo gave me, because also next to the zoo was a park, and we also went to that park. I forgot to mention, my bad. But yeah, there was a Sequoia Park next to it as well, and it was a playground for like kids, which the playground alone looked really cool. I wanted to play on it, but there was too many children, so I couldn't, of course. And then, but also if you went inside more, there was like benches and tables, like a picnic area for people. And when you go even more in that, it's another park or a forest. And so my girlfriend and I explored that some more, and it was just so nice being it was like, I don't really like to hike, but if the hikes here in California California, if the hikes here where I live look anything like those ones, then yeah, I would hike more because it didn't even feel like I was hiking. I was just I was so mesmerized by nature and just being engulfed in the moment, or not being engulfed, just being in the moment and watching, admiring nature and it's all its beauty and all its glory, and it was just so much fun. And then so yeah, between walking around in the zoo, breakfast, and walking around through that park, we were pretty tired and we just went back to the hotel and we rested for a bit before we went out to get dinner, and we saw a little bit more from the places that we chose to eat. It was a lot of fun. And then on Wednesday, we went to the Redwoods Park. I can't remember the exact park we went to, but we drove through the oh my god, we drove through the redwoods, and we also walked a little bit through the redwoods themselves on a trail. We wanted to see something called a big tree. However, the way the trail signs were, it was pretty bad the way the trail was set up. Like, it was only in the beginning it would tell you where to go, and then after that you were kind of just walking until you would hope to get to the next one. And because we weren't entirely sure how far away we were from this big tree, or if we had even seen past the big tree, we probably walked for about 30 minutes into the trail before we decided to turn around, because we were like, well, we don't know if we could park where we parked for more than 30 minutes, which I was more than positive we could, and I ended up being right. But yeah, mostly because of that. And at least I was getting tired because I was like, we walked a lot. I admired a lot of trees. I heard a lot of nature sounds. I heard a river. I heard cars. And I think I'm ready to, just drive through the park itself rather than walking. And it was a good thing that we did, because by the time we turned around, we walked for an hour. Probably about an hour we walked, and then we ended up driving through the redwoods for probably about 30 minutes. We drove in. We didn't do the entire 10-mile loop, I think it was, but we drove for about 30 minutes, and then we turned around before we turned around and went back to our hotel. But as we were driving back through the redwoods, we saw the sign for the big tree. And at least I think we were both upset, but I remember I was for sure upset, because when I saw that sign for the big tree, I was like, are you telling me we weren't even halfway to where that big tree is? So I was so glad that we had turned around before trying to get to the big tree, because had we tried to get to the big tree, I don't think we would have made it back to the car. At least I don't think I would have made it back to the car. I would have been exhausted. And yeah, so it was really good that we turned around. But oh yeah, I also, because I keep forgetting, but before we made it exactly to the park in the redwoods we were going to walk around in, we also stopped at this beach along the way, which is a very, very dangerous beach. I guess a lot of people like to go fishing, but a lot of people have also drowned at that beach. Yes, there's a sign that warns people not to swim in that ocean because of the way it's set up. It just slopes right in. So it's like a hill, and then you think, oh, it's just gonna be like even. No, it's like once you get in the water, you just go straight into like the ocean, and then like before it evens out, and a lot of people have drowned, so they're like, please do not swim in the ocean. And so we went to the shoreline. We didn't go in, of course. We didn't get anywhere too near the water. We just went to the beach to see it, because we both wanted to see a beach in Humboldt, and so we did that, and it was fun. And that was our day. That was Wednesday. That was all we did. We just went to the redwoods. It was a lot of fun, and then again after that we just rested at the hotel. I normally, when I'm on vacations, prefer to explore and see more, but because of the drive and because of all the things I had to get done the week before, and all the things I have been doing just like this year in general, I've been working nonstop, since last year. Music wise, like for my music wise, socially on TikTok and all that jazz is what I'm trying to say. And so it felt really nice to just be somewhere where you had no responsibilities, really. You don't have to worry about your neighbor taking your parking spot or any. You didn't have to worry about all the day-to-day stuff, you know. It was just my time to enjoy myself, time to enjoy with myself, time to enjoy with my girlfriend, time to enjoy in a place I have not been before. And I was really, really glad I got to rest. It was a really good time because then on Thursday, our final day to explore, we went to downtown Arcata, I think that's what it's called, and downtown Eureka. We explored those places just for a little bit before heading back to the hotel to start packing up and, you know, preparing for our departure. However, though, because our trip on Monday, our drive was so intense and so hard on us both, we decided to stop at my girlfriend's sister's house halfway, so we stayed the night. So instead of coming back Friday like we had planned, we ended up coming home Saturday because the drive on Monday was just so hard. We were like, we can't do that again in one day, so we had to split it up into 2 days. And I'm really glad that we did do that. We were both really glad we did do that in the end, because that drive on Monday really took us out to the point where we were almost not going to come home until Sunday. That's how tired we were from the drive. The drive kind of took us out more than the trip itself, but it's okay because I still had a really great time in the end. But we were also glad that we did stop at her sister's house for the night and left the next day, because it made the drive that much easier. And getting home on Saturday also allowed us for Sunday, hitting the mic all over the place, to be extremely lazy on Sunday, because I have been tired all day. My girlfriend told me she's been tired all day. Like, we haven't done anything. Well, I've gone grocery shopping with my mom and Jer. We went grocery shopping today. Then I played a game. It was a good day, but I also still really barely used a lot of energy just because I was so tired from the trip itself and the drive from Friday and Saturday, because Friday we drove 5 hours, and then again on Saturday we drove about 5-6 hours home. And so, you know, it was a lot of sitting, a lot of it's hard for me to do nothing, so it's hard for me to be a passenger because I need to constantly like be moving or doing something, and just sitting in a car for so long was really hard. But nonetheless, despite us not really liking our hotel initially, despite it being a very long drive, I still had a fabulous time and absolutely would go to Humboldt again. I would just, of course, break it up into 2 days like we did coming back, and I would make sure we eat something before or like along the drive, you know, along the way, so no one is no longer hangry. That was my trip to Humboldt. It was a lot of fun. I am a little sad though that I didn't get to do a podcast episode in the Redwoods, because that is something I did really want to do, and there was a point we were sitting on a bench before like continuing our journey back to the car, but I was like, you know, I could just record on my phone, but it would be very breathy and I would sound really out of shape. And so I didn't want to do that to myself. And so I didn't get a Redwoods in the Forest podcast, which kind of sucks because I really did want to do that, but it's okay because in the end I got to rest. I have more podcast ideas to try to come, and I'm tired. And although I could ramble on to make this a very long podcast, I think I have decided officially for season 3 of Tea Money Talks, the episodes are going to be only as long as the topics that I choose to talk about are. And if I choose to do a podcast episode where I'm just kind of freeballing it, you know, I'm just kind of improvising, or I don't really have anything to really specifically talk about, I'm not going to push myself to talk too much because, well, you know, I'm tired. I'm a busy gal. I'm a busy lady. I'm a busy guy, you know, so I can't be prolonging my editing time. And I know I'm kind of doing it now, but it's just because I'm explaining and just letting you guys know to be prepared that Tea Money Talks episodes will probably only be about 30 minutes this season, but that's okay. That's just because I got more music to focus on. I gotta get my career and everything going. Y'all gotta get if y'all want more longer T Money Talks episodes, make Now or Never, put Now or Never on the map, stream train stuff, stream cliche, add my music to playlist, share it with your friends, do all of that, and get Now or Never on the net map, get me famous, and then you can get longer T Money Talks episodes. Okay? Yeah, alright, cool. Thank you. That would help a lot. Anyways, with that being said, yeah, I think that's gonna be it for me tonight, or today, or the morning, the afternoon, whatever time you are choosing to listen to this. I hope you are having a great and fantastic day. And until next time, guys, this is T Money saying live your life because you, oh, I shook the mic, are the only one who get it. All right, bye.